Hi, everybody. This is Bobby Canada, Executive Director in Market America, and welcome to Shop.com Market America as a new franchise owner. And what I'm going to do is I'm setting up these 3 little webinars that you've probably been instructed to listen to if it's done right in between your sign-up session and your follow-up meeting when you're going to meet with your senior partner and kind of get your game plan together. So what I'm going to do is trying to give you the outline of the action plan for success. And the reason I want to do this is because if in this business, if you grow rapidly, and really what it comes down to is new people are telling new people, and before you know it, some of the messages get lost in translation, and you're not getting off to a great start. So what I thought I would do is to help my team and help all the franchise owners grow their business rapidly is, number one, use this packet as an outline for you. And, of course, if you're reading this, they've most likely already given you a copy to follow and told you where to go get it, download it, and then to go over it in these 3 little half-hour segments and hopefully get you off and running in a good spot. So I'm going to jump right into it, and all I'll tell you simple about myself is I've been with the company since 1992. I've been earning 6 figures with them for the last 17 years, and it's just an amazing ride. The company gets better and better and easier as we streamline everything. But still, the basis of what we have to do to treat this like a business and make this a successful business doesn't change. So with that said, let's reference this getting started action plan. And again, I will say this, the date that you're looking at this is 8/21. The reason I tell my team, we have a website where this is located on MA Southeast FL, MASoutheastFL.com, and that's where we have these audios, of course, and that's where you have the cleanest action plan. And just once in a while, check the date up here to make sure you have the most current one you're working with. So I'm just going to jump into it and go over the sign-up process. Now, again, this probably has already taken place with you, but I just want to go over it just to make sure, in case who brought you in case you guys were rushed a little bit, you didn't cover everything, that we go back over the things that you should have done and make sure, and again, you as a new business owner, make sure that your senior partner covers these things or did cover these things with you, okay? This is real simple. It's just pre-registration. In other words, when you bring someone, make sure you have a product catalog, you know where they're going to be placed. And these are some of the things you'll learn as you go. Don't worry about it right away. But these are just some of the things we have to know as we start to build the business. And then I always like to ask my people, if I'm bringing them in, unless I've really been working with them for a while, make sure you know why they're coming on board, because we're going to give you some instructions on how to be successful and the things you need to do and treat it like a business. But, some people come in because they just might want to be a product consumer, or maybe they just want to test the waters. So I'm going to assume, if you're listening to this and taking the time to listen to this, that you're serious about building your business. So with that said, we just want to make so sure that they're ready to get started and be coachable and commit some time to this, because, again, it is a business. Now, the registration should have already taken place when you came into Market America, and they should have went from your independent app to your UFMS registration. You picked your initial product. Most likely you got one of the product kits, and then you did your auto ship. Now, again, if for some reason you rushed through and you didn't do transfer buying, that's the lifeblood of the business. If you're going to earn and continue to earn volume, everyone needs to be on the transfer buying order, okay? And, of course, that can be set up relatively easy. And then you do a couple of these one-time sales reports, and then your online registration is pretty much complete. And that's how simple it is. So that probably might have taken you 30 minutes to go through, if that, probably 10 minutes with the way it's streamlined now. Now, once you've done that, you should have also then went back into your email, received your rep ID, your password, and that logs you in. That's a way to get into your back office. And then at that point, you go into your back office, and you follow the steps to set up your password, set up your web portal, and at one time there's some miscellaneous blogs we need to do, and then you're done. So that's the back office administrative initial setup, picking your web portal name. Okay, so then now you can shut the computer off. You should have already done that. Now, some people, if they didn't follow this, that's why I want to make sure we're going over this. We have a sales report, and we're one of the few companies that's never had any regulatory issues because we do require that our reps market some products to the end consumer every 3 months, and we have to just document it. Okay, so it's a very simple online documentation. It will take you literally 5 minutes a quarter to do. Okay, it's not a long process. But here's what is important at this stage: when you came on board, the Friday of the week you came on board became your Q day. It's when you qualified. It's when most likely you put your initial order in. Now, here's my point: it's your job to make sure you know your Q date. Once you have that, every 3 months, starting from your Q date, so your first quarter starts basically when you came on board based on your Q date. It's going to end 3 months later, and then the next one 3 months later, 3 months later, and 3 months later. These 4 dates are when your sales report is due, and for the most part, it never changes. Sometimes people say it goes to the Friday of the quarter. Look, let's keep it real simple for you. Pretty much, if you first quarter ends, if you came in January 1st, your first quarter ends on April 1st, and then July 1st, and then October 1st, November, December, and then January 1st, and then it should be back to April 1st. So here's my point, guys. Once you know your 4 quarter dates, that's when they're due. You obviously don't want to have something in your daytime or a planner or anything that reminds you to do your sales report the day it's due. It's too dangerous. You might be on a trip or something. So I always say back it up maybe 30 days or 2 weeks and put that date in here. Now, these dates right here that you're going to write in, make sure you enter them, okay? You have to enter them right into your calendar, whatever it may be. Do not wait to do it. Put them right in your calendar right away and get those things entered in, okay? Now that you have them, well, again, all you do is you call your senior partner and you say, hey, my sales report's due in a month or in 3 weeks. How do I do it? And they'll by that time, they'll walk you through it. But here's the point. If you don't remind them, okay, it's your job to know when it's due, because if you don't do it, unfortunately, you could lose some of your points. You might have to requalify your business, and we don't want to do that. So how hard is it to remember 4 dates every year, once a quarter, that your sales report is due, okay? So with that said, what's the next thing we want to do with you? We want to get you tied into our system, number G, meeting, training, and seminar system. We call it the NMTSS, okay, if you ever hear that. Now, most areas you're working with should have a local calendar. Make sure you get that from your senior partner. That's where most of the meetings and trainings in your area are posted. And then there's really a couple of things we have to do. One is we have to take an online training. It's very important. So we take this online training. We have to take 2 trainings, Basic 5 and New Distributor. It doesn't matter which order you take them in, but they're both about 3 hours, and they go over the basics of the business. That's why we call them New Distributor and Basic 5, which is the fundamentals of the business. Now, if you're in an area that doesn't have live trainings, or for some reason you can't get to them because you work nights or something like that, you can always take them online. Okay, but I do recommend live trainings if you can get there. Okay, well, once you've done that, there's another training after you're making money. But then we want to tie you into the seminars. Those are one-day events that we have like every couple of months, most likely in your area. Make sure you know when those are. And then, of course, the National and World Conference, which is the big events that Market America hosts. It's so important. See, guys, training and getting under the understanding of what it takes to build this business, and yeah, to some degree, some motivation and belief that you can do this. It comes from these. We're not here to try to training you to death and get you to, do all these things. We never really do anything more than maybe once a month, where we kind of get you to an event and help you learn the business at the same time, build your belief level. Okay. Then we're going to kind of book a couple of dates, guys. This is real important. By the way, your hotel meetings might be in your area. You want to make sure you know where those are too, if your area is having hotel meetings. But now we want you to schedule your 2 product previews. Now, again, every group is a little different. Some groups might be not hosting product previews. Maybe it's not going on that in their system or their area. But in an ideal, perfect location, perfect world, what we're trying to do with everybody is build a customer base, and at the same time, you're trying to expand distribution. So what's the best way to do it? If we just take all our efforts in our next month, as you being a new rep, and say, I'm going to host 2 product previews. Now, they should be close together. The idea of 2, it's really one event, but what you do is, because we know people have a lot of stuff going on, you tell someone, hey, I'm doing a product preview, and one's going to be on Thursday night, the 10th, and then we're going to do another one on Monday night, the 14th, whatever that might be. And that way, if they can't make one, they can make the other. So it's really one event we're shooting for, but we're going to have it on 2 different nights to compensate for the to make it for the people. So you pick those 2 dates now, and then really, again, depending on who can show the plan and what your area is building like, the ideal thing would have to also, after the product previews, you want to start with maybe those first, because then you can roll the people into, if they like the products, about the business. We're going to have 2 business presentations. Same thing, 1 event, 2 separate nights. So you're really planning for just 2 events, a product show that you're going to set up for 2 different nights, and a business presentation that also you're going to set up for 2 different nights. So pick those dates now. And if you haven't done this is why I'm going over the sign-up process. If you have not done this yet, please do, guys. If you take the time to put the massive effort, that's not even massive effort, but really dig into saying, you know what, launching your business, creating a 90-day story is so important that we want you to get off to a great start. And if we can piddle around and, bring one person over to a product preview, and maybe bring one person into a presentation that's going on at a hotel, and, you'll grow slow and you'll putz along. But here's what we want you to do, and we're going to go over this more in detail, but take responsibility for you hosting a successful product preview. We're going to give you 2 nights to pull it off, right? And also a successful home presentation. Also going to give you 2 separate nights to basically get in each one of these things. Try to get 10 people, between the 2 product previews, get 10 people there, 10 or more. And between the home presentation, between both of them, you're going to host 10 people total or more. That's not hard to do, guys. 5 at each one, if you will, okay? Once we've done that, and then if you're into any motives or whatever it may be, or if your group's doing any once-a-week conference calls to kind of motivate the group, this is just tying you into the whole system of what we're doing, okay? That leads us real quick. We're almost coming in for a landing on this first audio to your homework. Now, your homework is going to be real simple. All you're going to do is you're going to book a follow-up meeting. See, you should be already have that booked. If you're listening to these audios, your senior partner, or whoever brought you on board, went through the sign-up session. Again, make sure when you get together, if you didn't plan any of the things I just talked about, the home kickoffs and the product previews, make sure you find out, okay, how can I pull that off? How can I build a customer base? And how can I get my distributor base working? So, we're going to talk about finishing up anything we didn't cover. So, but your homework before we get together is to what? And first of all, let's schedule that. You should have it scheduled. Then we want you to complete your top 10 names list. Okay, try for a full 60. Guys, this is not hard to do. On page 10, there's a memory jogger, I believe. But basically, what we want you to do is go through your contacts. Just look at your cell phone, and there's your contact list. I mean, years ago, we didn't have cell phones, and we had everything on a Rolodex or scraps of paper. But basically, if you just scroll down your cell phone number list, you should have well over 60 names in there. Well, that's a great names list. But highlight your top 10. These are the ones you really feel would be great business builders. They're connected. They know people. Maybe have some marketing experience. But either way, let's list top 10, but let's come in with a full list of 60 minimum, okay? And then we want your goal statement. Your goal statement is pretty simple. It's just why you're doing the business, and really want you to spend, a good 15 minutes thinking this through and say, what's my why? Because obviously I have to take on something else. I have to learn more. I'm listening to this audio as we speak. So there's got to be a reason why that there's hopefully something in Market America, whether it's residual income or time freedom, that you're really gravitating towards to say, this is what I need to do. Okay? Now, what else is there? this is the last thing we do. We want to develop a plan of action. We're gonna go through that in the follow-up meeting. Okay. So last couple things is what this is important. Before you even listen to the basic 5 or anything, go through these 3 webinars, because what I tell people is book, even if it's 3 days apart. Guys, you want to see if someone's really worth working with? I mean, you tell them, look, you just came into the business. There's 3 30-minute webinars. Do one a day I want you to listen to, and then we're going to meet for follow-up. And again, the reason, which you'll hear in these 3 webinars, is I want to give you a basic understanding of the business to save your partner, when you guys sit down for your follow-up, to save them a lot of time and explaining the basics of the business, the referral approach, the direct approach. Well, let me do that for you in these 3 audios. That way, when you sit down with your senior partner, you guys can get right into your list and start working on the best approach for your people. Okay? So that is your homework. Listen to these 3 30-minute audios over the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever time you guys book between when you enrolled, signed up, and your follow-up meeting. Okay? And the last thing, that they just developed this, it's kind of cool, and if you have some extra time with it, or we can do it later, but why not, if you have time, fill out the Home Advisor. It's in your back office, which is really what it does. We want to build your personal use as best we can, and we want to build all your customers' personal use as best they can. So what we have is a little system, a little online system that walks you through a mock house, if you will, every room from the kitchen to the living room to the bathroom, and pretty much shows you all the Market America products that you could be using, and basically just load them into a list. And then if you decide to, you can put them on your auto ship, whether it's every month, every 2 months, every 3 months. But this will be a start of getting you in compliance with saying, you know what, I'm using as many Market America products as possible. So again, make sure you listen to these webinars, and hopefully you have time to spend 15, 20 minutes and go through this Home Advisor exercise. Okay? At that point now, you're ready to meet for your follow-up, and I think I'm going to cut this off here because I don't want to collapse the 2. I'm going to go. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, just for the sake of 30 minutes, so I don't have to rush through the next one. Let me go through a little bit of the follow-up meeting. Okay, let's get started right on that, since we're kind of fresh off the sign-up. When you meet for your follow-up meeting, that should be coming up. Remember, you're listening to these audios in between. The purpose of the meeting is to what? To get you rolling, get you established, and get you building a network. So what do we have to do? We want you to build, a customer base as well as your distributor network. Well, the first thing you're going to do as follow-up is make sure you completed everything I just went over with you. Remember I said maybe you guys skipped auto ship, or maybe they didn't go over the sales reports every 4 months. And you say, man, Bobby told me about that, put my dates in now, and you didn't even tell me my Q date. You'd be surprised, guys, when you don't do things systematically. I've had people come to training and say, hey, new person, what's your Q date? And they have no idea. I'm like, who enrolled you? Who brought you in that you don't even know your Q date? So you know what it tells me? They didn't follow this packet. They didn't follow this just really mimics the Market America Getting Started guide. It's just what maybe in my mind has a little more flow to it. Obviously, I've attached these 3 audios to it because I believe the guide is important enough that someone should walk you through it and teach you how. So if someone doesn't even know the things we just covered, then I got to believe they didn't go through the process properly. Okay? So make sure you go over and ask them to complete anything that we just covered. And again, if you have this guide in front of you, you have all of it referenced. Okay? And then we want to make sure we can always use enough products to cover our auto ship. There, guys, all you have to do is a little bit of product every month, and you're absolutely doing this business, okay? Now, what we're trying to get to, guys, is what the system is called Base 10 7 Strong. What it means is we want you to build, just getting started, and this, if we can duplicate this, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But here's you. We basically want to build a team of 3 reps on the left and 3 reps on the right, and just like yourself, through a little customer base, you're not going to just be doing, and they can do this for IBV, the internet purchases, but just let's keep it simple, thinking business volume or Market America products. We want you and your customer base to be responsible for about 400 points of Market America purchases, and I'll go over that, break it down a little bit for you, and if you have 3 reps on the left and 3 on the right doing the same thing, you'll see that that can actually earn you a $300 check every single month. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's just the first building block that we're going to duplicate, and you're going to see how fast you can actually keep doing this over and over and over again, okay? So, and by the way, just to go through that a little bit more of what that really means, what we mean by base 10, 7 strong is having a customer where you have 10 customers doing 30 points a month. That's 300, and you yourself are doing 100 yourself. You can't really see it in here. It's kind of faded. So if you and your family are buying 100 BB points a month and you have 10 customers doing the same thing, you're absolutely on your way to what we call base 10, 7 strong. Okay, and there it is right here. If you use 100, then get 10 customers at 300 BV, 10 customers at 30 BV, that equals 300. That's 400 a month, isn't it? And you'll be doing your goal. Now, don't get confused. Transfer buying and how simple this business is. Guys, you only have to do a little 50 points or whatever your little margin is to earn and accumulate volume. I'm looking at this as, look, we want to build a successful business. We want to have production going on. So that's why we're shooting to get you to 400 points a month, not 50 points, but you and your customer base doing 400 points a month. Now, I'm going to show you a sheet in a few minutes that says, well, how do we get that? Well, what we have to do, guys, is I'll skip down to it because I want to show it to you. I do have about 10 minutes left, where if 2 people a week you get on a product. See, guys, I believe if you don't have a system, especially if you're new and you're trying to integrate everything and work this around your job and your career, it's very easy to get sidetracked. So I believe in giving you an outline, and then we'll talk about the different ways we can do it. But the idea is you have to know what you need to do. So here's your goal. I want you to get 24 people to try a Market America product over your first 90 days. Well, let's break it out. What's 90 days? What's 12 weeks? Well, if I want 24 people, how many people a week do I have to have trying a Market America product of some sort? Well, I need 2. It's not hard to do, guys. 2 people a week on product. Now, if you get 24 people trying product, that should give you a solid repeat base of 10 customers. So I'm just going to skip down to page 12 if I can, and let's see if I can pull this off, and I can scroll back hopefully. So let me cover this part with you because I think it's important. Oops, I just went too far on there. Yeah, it's right here, so it's pretty simple. If we want to get, I don't know why I can't scroll this thing up easy. Yeah, it's right here actually. If we want to get 24 people, so I give that key all over again. So this is on page, I think page 10, or excuse me, yeah, page 10 is page 9. So what do we give you guys? I believe in systems and sheets and tracking sheets, and if you want to put this on an Excel spreadsheet, by all means do. But if you look at it, I don't know why it prints better than this. I don't know why it's not showing up well. But there's 24 slots here. That means every week where you need 2 people on here. 2 people trying a product, what product they're on and the date, and then you're going to follow up with them. But basically, if you have 2 people a week and there's 12 weeks, that'll give you 24 people on product. Guys, if you do that, so first I give you the system. See, I think it's important you understand what we're trying to do, and then what we're going to break into is, well, then how do I do it? What's the ease of doing it? So as long as you understand that we're shooting to get 24 people to try the product. Now we can go through just different ways you can do it. Guys, I don't care how you do it. You can get people to get catalogs. We're going to go over this more in your Basic 5 when we teach you, but there's so many ways to get people to try product. And we're going to work with you as an individual to get you up to speed, whether it's through the catalog, whether it's through flyers, or whether it's just asking someone to try a product. But one of the best ways we want you to do is doing what? I already talked about this. If you booked 2 home product previews, well, we have a whole it's called Retailing 101 workshops and wellness, beauty, skin care. You can print these out. Your enroller should know where they're at. And basically, guys, if you do that and hold 2 product previews and you invite, 5, you actually invite, you're always going to put double of what you think you're going to get. If you get 10 confirmed, you might get 5 there. So let's say you hold those 2 product preview parties right? A couple days apart or no more than a week apart. You give people a choice of which day they can go to, and your job, working with your enroller, they have the invitation set. They'll go over them with you. There's a plug and play like video. You'll be able to just hook up, and it explains some of our products. And really, with the checklist, price list that they've all been developed, you should be able to secure probably everyone there that should want to try a product. Well, now remember, we're working to get what, 24 people to try product. Well, if you get 10 or 15 people in the first month at your wellness parties, well, look what you've just done. You've got such a jump start on that total 24 people that we want to get in front of a product over a 90-day period. Okay? So with that said, the last thing we're going to roll into is recruiting. And basically, I'm going to go over all the steps we need to do, but from the recruiting process, this is your follow-up meeting, guys. How simple is it? All we're doing is we told you what we want you to accomplish, base 10-7 strong. We're going to work with you on getting these product previews together as quick as we can. And then we want to host, take the first 4 weeks to have those 2 successful home business presentations to launch your business, okay? Now, once you've already picked the dates, and you're going to hear more about this, what to say, direct approach, referral approach. So by the time you meet with your senior partner, you should have a good understanding of the best way to approach some of the people on your list, whether it's a 3-way call, get them to look at a recruiting website. There's a lot of different things you can do at Market America. Now, when you meet for your follow-up, we want you to get into immediate action. So a lot of leaders are saying, you know what? Now, we're not doing this now, of course, but when you meet for your follow-up and you get down this last part of prospecting and recruiting, you're going to have your 2 product previews, your 2 home business presentations booked, and then you're going to start inviting to that. Or maybe you're going to meet some people individually, but what we want you to do is with your prospect, okay, with your senior partner, call 10 of your prospects with your sponsor to invite them either to your wellness presentation or your business presentation, okay? Or if they just need a little more information to open their mind up to potentially come to something. But you're going to get in the habit right away of that this is a simple business. Now, what we're going to do in the rest of these tapes, or this rest of this, 2 more 30-minute sessions, we're going to go over a couple of scripts, a couple simple ways to talk to people. But you see how easy this business is, guys? All we want you to work towards is having a successful product preview and a successful business presentation within your first month or so of the business, okay? And then, of course, once we complete what we're doing here, we're going to continuously bring in one person a day, talk to one person a day about the business. Now, what I'm going to go over at the end, after we finish this, I'm going to show you in our next session, we'll go over the 90-day checklist and how easy it is to keep track of everything I just went over. So I basically covered the sign-up and the follow-up in this one session, but just to recap it for you and how simple it is, let me just take it right from the top, and I'm just going to recap it for you. We went through, all we did, guys, is we went through the sign-up session and what it takes to bring someone on board, the registration. We went over your meetings and trainings, your sales report, right? Real simple stuff. A little bit about, as I mentioned, the training. We gave you your homework, which was to listen to these 3 audios. And then when you meet with your senior partner, what are we going to do? We're going to tell you what we want you to accomplish, base 10-7 strong, and we're going to tell you how to accomplish it by what? Retailing the product. That's part 1. And what do we want you to do? Get 24 people over your first 90 days to try the product. And then we want to do what? Get your top 10 list and actually build and get about, we want about maybe another 10 or so people to come to your business presentations. We want your top 10 to evaluate this, or if it goes past your top 10, we want to get at least 10 people to look at this. If you get 10 people to look at this, you should be able to get your 2 first business partners right off the bat, and you'll be off and running. So with that said, I'm going to shut down the first session. And we might even get this done in 2 sessions, but I wanted you to kind of get that under your belt. And now you get your homework, meet with your senior partner, and of course you got 1 more of these audios to listen to. Okay.